Okay, so welcome everyone to the Conan 1000 Recipes virtual community event. We're very excited to have everyone here. My name is Stephen Chin, VP of Developer Relations at JFrog. I am joined by Diego, who is the co-founder of Conan and the lead architect on Conan, and a great guy. How are you doing, Diego?
I'm doing great, Steve. Thank you. Yeah, this is very exciting. This is a celebration today, and I'm really thrilled to be here today.
Awesome. Yeah, no, this is a huge milestone for Conan, so we're all super excited. Um, so we've got a lot of great content lined up. We're going to be first giving a little intro to the presentation, which will start in just a sec. Then we have an awesome presentation about Conan Center and some great community panelists, which we'll be going through. So please join us. You can reach out and talk to us directly and ask questions via the Conan Slack on the CPP Slack group, and yeah, let's get right into the presentation. So here is the presentation, and take it away, Diego.
Okay, I just see my screen. Is shared. Okay, great. So hello, my name is Diego. I'm one of the co-founders of Conan, and together with Luis Lasore in GitHub, I want to say something very important to you, to the community, to the contributors of Conan Center. Is thank you. It's a big thank you to all of you because this is an amazing milestone, and this is not only about the 1,000 recipes in a GitHub repo. That is nothing. The important part of it is that there are thousands and thousands of companies using Conan in production in everywhere, in agriculture, in automotive, healthcare, finance, gaming, and these companies, many of them, which means tens of thousands of developers and millions of people, are using these recipes from Conan Center into their products. They are releasing it to the world. This is something that has a huge impact. I can tell you because I work closely with many Conan users daily. I talk to them and everything, and they are growing. New users are joining every day. The impact that you, the community in Conan Center, are having in the world is absolutely incredible. So as a small thing for you, we wanted to do something, and today we are going to raffle a Nintendo Switch. This is if you have contributed to Conan Center. That means to the Conan Center index GitHub repo. If you have done a pull request and it has been merged, please uh, enter your data into this link. This link will be posted into the into the Zoom, into the YouTube somewhere. Please, in the next half an hour, enter your data there, and we will be raffling this Nintendo Switch. You need to be in the Conan channel in the CPP Lang Slack because we will get in contact with you, and then you should accept the price when we tell you to that you have one. This is a legal condition, so please make sure that you enter your data in this link, and also that you are in the Conan channel in the CP Lang Slack, so we can contact you for the winner. Then, of course, today is about thank you, and the main thanks is for the community and the contributors. But I also want to have a word for JFrog, because JFrog is sponsoring the party. They are sponsoring us, the Conan team. They are sponsoring the Conan Center infrastructure that, as many of you know, is not a small one. It's a big one, and also many other things. They are releasing the Artifactory Community Edition for free, so we can use it in our companies as well. And overall, they are just believing in open source and supporting the C and C++ community. So thanks very much, Jay, for that. And my second thank you today, because today we are talking with the contributors and everything, is the Conan Center team. Of course, the Conan team, but especially in this case, this is the core of the Conan Center team, the people that are supporting you daily. And what I love about this team is that they do it greatly. They are really talented people, but they are also passionate, they are fun to work with. This is one of the best team ever, and I really wanted to say thank you, team, and keep rocking. Finally, I want to share a word about the future. Okay, the past has been amazing. This milestone is the reflect of this past, and we have an exciting future ahead. We are very, very close to release our first 2.0 alpha. It will be very alpha state, but it will already implement most of the feedback of the tribe. Many important changes that have been discussed in the tribe are already there. So please keep tuned because we will be releasing this very, very soon. What does it mean for Conan Center? Most of the things that you will need in Conan Center are being made available in 1x. So for example, Conan 140 has many, many things that will be available, and they will be possible to do pull requests to Conan Center using these tools. So Conan Center becomes prepared for the Conan 2.0 migration while being in the Conan 1x release. So please keep tuned for these changes. We will be releasing blog posts to report about this. And yeah, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty positive that the future and Conan 2.0 will be great because your support and your contributions are amazing, and you will be there. So thanks very much, and please keep rocking the Conan Center. And that's it. Thank you very much. And I wanted to now to pass the word to Javier, who is going to present about the center.
Hey, thanks.
And many other
Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Diego. So before we pass it over to Javier, so it's super exciting that Conan 2 Alpha is coming out, and I think it'd be worth it. What are you most looking forward to for the Conan 2 release? Because this has been a long time in coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to reduce the number of tickets and support tickets that we get in GitHub, because you know what, the integrations, everything will be way more natural and intuitive. The expected behavior, we are getting rid of many legacy. We're talking about 5 years old decisions, and now we are getting rid of them. So this will result in a much more powerful and also intuitive Conan 2.0. And it is expected that it will be way more smoothly to support, and the users, of course, that means happier users in general. So this is what I'm looking for, and I'm more excited. Being the users more happy and more satisfied using Conan, basically.
No, that's great, and that's very confident to do a new release and expect the support tickets to go down. Okay, so let's add Javier to talk a bit about the demo. Welcome, Javier.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, I'm going to put you in the background, Diego. Thanks.
Sure.
Thanks, Diego, for the kind words. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hey, how are you doing? And what are you going to talk about today?
Well, I think today is about celebrating the 1,000 recipes, and okay, it's a great milestone. 1 year ago, we wouldn't believe that we would be speaking about 1,000 recipes now into 2021. August, we get to that number. This is really amazing.
Yeah, no, that's a huge milestone. Okay, I'm going to put you full screen, and you can take it away.
Yes, please. Okay, as Diego said, okay, I'm Javier Garcia Sogo. Okay, you can see the, more people
I added
here.
Daniel as well in the background.
We will have Danny later. Okay, you will have the opportunity to meet most of the people that is contributing to Conan Center in the backstage. And I really need to thank all of them. As Diego said, it's an incredible team. I'm very happy to work with all of them. And of course, I need to say a big thank you to all the contributors. And also I need to join with Diego and say thank you to JFrog, because they are really sponsoring Conan and Conan Center. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about my life as a C++ developer. Okay, I've been a C++ developer for more than 10 years before joining Conan. And as many of you, I suppose, this was our life. Okay, this is what we really like to do. We love to code. During the week, we work on work stuff, and during the weekends, we keep programming. Of course, don't do it. Okay, weekends is just for rest and enjoy. But we really know the truth, and the truth is that during the weekends, some of us are trying to learn new things, trying to experiment with new libraries, trying to learn and to improve our skill set. And this was me 1 month ago. I was trying to look for, I will tell the history from the very beginning. I said, okay, I want to show these 3D models in the browser, do some Thingiverse thing, okay, just a 3D model, and I want to do it using C++. Okay, we all know that there is a thing called mscripten, and it should be more or less the way to go. And I started to look for libraries that I can use to run something like this, okay? And this will be the model, just a Conan cube that Danny did some years ago. And I found this library, Magnum library. Okay, this is a C++ library, and looking to the examples, I saw that, okay, this is 3D in the web, so probably this is what I was looking for. Okay, this is mscripten. This was exactly the thing I wanted to do. Okay, I have a library. I don't need to write it my own. Then what do you usually do? Okay, you go to the source code, to the examples. I have the tab here, and you start to check. Okay, you navigate the examples. You look for the one you are interested in, which is, for example, okay, what's this one? You check the C++. Okay, not so many lines. Well, most of them related to mouse controls and the draw event. Okay, it's easy. I mean, it's an easy example. But then you go to the CMake lists. I suppose that all of you, if you are here listening to people talking about Conan and Conan Center, probably you are C++ developers, you know CMake, and you know about CMake lists. And you find the thing that we as C++ developers are afraid of, this find package. Find package, okay, just a couple of libraries. But then you start to pull the thread, and you see that it is not only those two libraries. Those libraries require other libraries, and those other libraries require other libraries. And this was more or less it. Okay, Magnum requires Corrate, requires SDL version 2, which also requires a lot of libraries, then some audio libraries, OpenGL, of course. And as I was willing to load some 3D model, I need some plugins or extensions to read that model and import it into something that Magnum can render. And you say, okay, it was going to be easy. It was just a library. No, it is 15 or 20 libraries. And you start to think. You say, okay, I was trying to do this during the weekend. Maybe what can you do? Okay, you can switch to Python. It would be just a pip install, and it will probably work. Maybe JavaScript. It's also easy. They have npm, and it works. Even Java have its own thing. Maven, you can run Maven install, and it works. Some of them would be easier or harder to run the 3D in the browser, but when it comes to C++, you just can pray, okay? You just can clone the sources and see if the README helps. And what do? Okay, you can give up or you can try a different approach. And then you discover Conan Center. And just you go to the web page. I suppose all of you know it, Conan.io Center. And there you can search for libraries. And you see that SDL is available. This is great. Hardwoof is available. And more or less, you start to check that all the libraries you need for your small example are available. And then you are happy again. Okay, you start to think that probably it is possible. Probably you will be able to build that example in that weekend, probably just in one afternoon if everything works. And I suppose that now is time when you want to see it working, okay? Because yes, it does, it works. So let me share the Sea Lion with you. And using Conan, with Conan Center, the only thing you need to do is something like this. Okay, you just need a file, you just need to list the recipes you want to use. Okay, you need some generators, something else, but I'm not going to enter into details here. You have very good documentation in the Conan webpage. You can follow them, you can follow the getting started, and you will know all the secrets behind this file. And everything you need to do is just write your regular CMake script, which is the thing I have here. This is exactly the same file we saw in the examples. Okay, the same C++ file. And with a simple Conan command like this one, okay, a Conan install, it will retrieve recipes, it will retrieve packages from the remote, and the most important thing, it will create these files, these fine module files that we all know are the keystone of CMake. With these files, we know that, okay, if they refer to the proper include files and to the proper libraries and everything, then it will work. And it does work. Okay, we can build this example in release, and we can run the example. Okay, it will take some time because the CPU is quite busy with the streaming process, but it will work. Trust me. Okay, it was built in advance. Okay, I'm not building everything from scratch. Let's see if it starts the application. Come on. Okay, here it is. This is just a regular desktop application, okay? This was the easy thing. We all know that, okay, desktop, more or less everything was going to work. But the great thing with Conan is that with exactly the same sources, exactly the same CMake file, and more or less the same command, I just need to change a profile. You can learn about profiles in Conan documentation. Okay, exactly the same command. Conan will install the libraries for MScripten in this example. Okay, maybe you need to build some libraries from sources. That's not a problem. Conan will deal with it. But the important point is that you will get your fine module files pointing to the right binaries for MScripten, and it will work exactly the same as it was working for the release. Let me switch the configuration. Let me build it. Okay, maybe it takes longer. And being honest, this is something that 1 year ago, or I think, yes, 1 year ago, it was unbelievable for me. Okay, I couldn't think that writing a small example to show a 3D model in the browser was even possible. Okay, it has finished. Okay, it has built the thing. Now I need to open a server. Okay, and if I go to the browser, and enter the address. Here it is. Exactly the same sources, exactly the same CMake file, exactly almost the same Conan command. Everything is ready for you, for me in this case, to use. And I'm really, 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 really happy because this is possible now and it was not possible before. And to be honest, I think that this is a new era for C++ developer, for those of us who love to write C++ code. Now we can do something that it was unbelievable 1 year ago. 1 year ago, it would take me 1 week to build those 15 or 20 packages. And yes, I'm very, very, very grateful for all the people who make this possible. And I wonder, how is this possible? Because I really want to thank them.
Yeah, so I would say a developer like Javier, that it's all about contributors in Conan Center. But maybe we have people here that is not so familiar with how Conan Center works. So let me go a little bit farther and explain how it's everything happening. So yeah, it's all about the contributors, but what is happening there? So in Conan Center, we have a common repository, which is called Conan Center Index. And here is where all the interaction happens. This is where people in Conan Center meet to contribute new recipes. And the process is fairly simple. You just have to open a pull request with the recipe you want to have in Conan Center, and all the packages will be generated for you. So in the repository has had a really great acceptance, and as you can see in the graph, we have a good number of pull requests every month. So here you can see the trend that is increasing every month. So for example, if you take July, we reach over the 400 pull requests, which is something amazing for people contributing here. And you can see more or less that the trend is 200 pull requests every month, which is something amazing. So as I said, the repository has a lot of activity. And another milestone is that we are more than 500 contributors already. So this is why we are today here. We all want to say a big thank you, because this is the people that are making it possible. So yeah, it's great. So, but when you contribute to Conan Center, you also have this great feeling of people interacting in pull requests, sharing the knowledge, and making the recipes better and making the C++ ecosystem more usable. So when we started to look at the data, we saw that reflected there. For example, here in this graph, you can see that most of the pull requests that are open to Conan Center are actually merged. We have a very low rate of pull requests that got declined, or pull requests that remain open. So yeah, this is great. Even in some months, if you see in the chart, there are pull requests. All the pull requests have been merged. So it's great, and you have the feeling that if someone wants to contribute, if someone wants to open a new pull request, they are not going to be left behind. They are going to receive feedback in the pull request, and it will be finally merged. So yeah, it's a great feeling. And also here you can see people that are the top contributors to Conan Center. I mean, we have many great people that are sharing and improving recipes over time. And yeah, it's great to see that huge amount of work invested there. But it's not only about top contributors, but about anyone contributing to the repository. So in the chart, you can see that also new people coming to the repository are getting pull requests merged. So here you can see monthly pull requests versus monthly unique contributions. And of course, the pull request trend is great, but also the unique contributors every month is increasing steadily. So this is a huge thing for a community like the Conan Center one, and this is great to see that that this is working. But yeah, let me go a little bit farther and see that behind the scenes is more complex than it looks like. So this is what happens in the repo, but behind the scenes there is a whole system taking care of building the packages. So here you can see a simplified diagram of what is happening there. So as some of you may know, we are running the build service on top of Jenkins and on top of Artifactory. And basically the flow is whenever a pull request is open or a new commit is done, it triggers the new build. And for every for every build, we are doing a couple of things. So for example, we have dedicated hook checks that are taking care of the quality of the recipes. We also calculate the different package IDs that will generate the different profiles that will generate a different package ID. Sorry. And finally, those packages are built and uploaded to a dedicated repository in Artifactory, along with some useful metadata that we are collecting. Also, the feedback during this build process is shared with a Conan Center, with the well-known Conan Center bot for the community. That is the one providing feedback in the pull request comments, in the builds, and it's also collecting a summary of the packages that were generated or the packages that failed. And finally, when the pull request is finally reviewed and merged, the packages go through a different process that we call it promotion. That is just copying packages from one repository to another in Artifactory, which is a really great thing because we don't have to spend time downloading and uploading packages again. So in fact, we are relying entirely in Artifactory. So here I wanted to show you some of the things that we are storing in Artifactory. You can see in the list the reference that have the most recipe revisions, and besides the huge milestone of having quite a little bit more of 1,000 recipes, you can see there that we have a good number of references, complete references. I mean the libraries with the version altogether. We have 600 packages there, and also the revision. So Artifactory is actually serving more than 15 terabytes of data that comes mainly from the binaries generated. And yeah, and you can see we got almost 10,000 recipe revisions, each of them with more than 80 packages average. So this is great, and Artifactory is actually serving a huge amount of data for Conan Center and for everyone, available for everyone just with a Conan install command. And also to give you some idea about it, here we started collecting recently some trends about the data transfer that we are serving from Artifactory. And here you can see a graph with the all remote, the one from Bintray and the other one. And it was a great thing to see that the data was actually reflecting what we expected. So yeah, you see here that the Conan Center started to got more data transfer than the old one, and it was great to see people moving to this Conan Center new remote, and it's actually amazing to see how Artifactory is actually serving all this amount of data. So, as Diego said in the introduction of the talk, there is also people taking care of this system running, and I wanted to also thank you, the JFrog team. There are many people taking care of this system and taking care that is running almost around the clock. So I wanted to also to join with a thank you to JFrog and to the people here that, you know, it's a group of amazing people that we are keeping the system running. So yeah, now let me hand over again to my colleague Javier, because I think there is something else we want to tell you.
Yes, besides all the people that is making possible this system in the backstage, maybe you know some of us in GitHub because we are all the day, every day there trying to help you as you help us with our pull requests. That's not all, okay? Because what we have built is not only a system that processes pull requests and eventually merge the packages. What we have here is not only a great team of people working in Conan Center. What we have here is not just JFrog sponsoring this effort. We have here also the work of many of you, not only in the recipes, but also writing hooks, for example, those little snippets that help us to cook those recipes in the best way possible, that help us to validate every little detail from recipes. That's not all. On top of Conan Center, there are some bots that you, the community, have developed. There are bots that take care of the documentation, okay? As you know, there are also a bot that detects possible conflicting recipes and posts a message in the pull request, hey, have a look to the other pull request because it is modifying the same recipe. That's great. There are also a bot which is notifying about the pull requests that are ready to be reviewed. I mean, those pull requests that have built all the packages successfully, and they only need some manual intervention to review and approve those packages so they can get merged into Conan Center. There are also bots that take care of notification when a new release of a library is released, and they create pull requests for those new releases all automatically. So this is really great. And when you have a look to the pull request and you start to follow links, this is not all that happens. There is something I'm really happy that it is happening. And it is when you follow links, sometimes you get to repositories where you see that library authors are taking patches that were developed in the context of Conan Center, and they are taking those patches and applying them to their libraries. Patches to the sources, and also, of course, patches to the build system. This is really amazing. All of us are contributing back to those library authors that are making everything possible from the very beginning. And it is great to see that those authors see some value in Conan Center, because Conan Center helps them to show their library. Their library is now in a place, in a web page that is aggregating C++ libraries, and you can use to search and find libraries that you were not aware of. So this is also great. And of course, our experience, our pull request is helping the Conan client to be every day a better tool for C++ developers. We detect bugs, we suggest new features, we contribute with examples that help Conan to be the best package manager out there. And this is great. I really think we are building a virtuous cycle. Okay, we are creating a platform, and we are already in that point where we have enough recipes so people think that Conan Center is something useful, and as they think it is something useful, they contribute with more recipes. And this is exactly what we really need and what we really want. And to be honest, I think that it is, of course, it is not possible without JFrog. It is not possible without some work of some people, the great team we have in Conan, but it is not possible without you. And this is the message from this talk. This is because you are there, you are contributing to recipes, and we really think we are already a Conan Center community. And what's next? 2,000 recipes? I don't know. The sky is the limit. So now I will love if Danny join us again. And Steve, you can pop up as well.
Hey, no, that was awesome. Great presentation, both of you, and I'm very excited. How do I write my own bot?
Yeah, you will have to ask the people in the community. They are doing amazing things with the bots there.
No, that's great. Excellent job, and it's great to see all the hard work which you guys and the whole Conan community are putting into making it a better ecosystem and easier to use C and C++ libraries.
Yes, I think that's the biggest achievement of Conan and Conan Center, to make C++ ecosystem a better place.
Cool, that's great. And I think that the next thing we wanted to do was to have a panel with some folks from the Conan community. So I'm gonna ask some additional folks to join us. Thanks, Danny. I'm gonna drop
Thank
you.
Okay, don't go too far.
Okay, and now we're gonna add Julian and Chris. Welcome. How are you guys doing?
Very good, yourself?
Hello.
Awesome. And so what we're gonna do for this panel is we really want this to be interactive with folks watching the stream. So if you can ask questions, preferably on the Conan Slack, if you're on the Conan Slack. So feel free to just ask them hashtag Conan in the CPP Slack, or you can also ask on the YouTube stream, and we'll try to pull in comments if you're on the YouTube stream only and you wanna ask some things from folks who are on the panel here. And I think this is also a great opportunity just to kind of appreciate what folks are doing with Conan, how they're using it, and for us to get good feedback about Conan as well, because we want to continue improving Conan. We want to make it a better resource for the community, make it work better, have improvements in Conan 2, which are going to value the community. And the only way we know this is by folks in the community helping us out. So let's quickly do a round of self intros. So I think you just finished presenting, Javier, but why don't you introduce yourself a little more fully?
Well, I was a C++ developer for a long time, and to be honest, I really quit my previous job because in order to continue working as a C++ developer, I needed a package manager. And that's the main reason I joined JFrog, to develop Conan. And we are building it.
Yeah, I think you're in the right place. Okay, and maybe you want to go next, Julian?
Hello, I am William, and I used to be a C++ developer like Javier, and for many years we had problems with software management, package management, and I used to create bash scripts like I wrote in the chat to build out my dependencies, but it took like 2 weeks, and of course only works for a specific scenario for Linux, for example. And we had similar scripts on batch for Windows when I know. And after that, I knew Conan, and the package management was changed mind about the solving the problems related to this plus.
Cool. I like your 1,000 recipes on the whiteboard in the background. Very colorful. Okay, and last but not least, Chris, how are you doing? You want to self-introduce?
Yes, so I've been programming in C++ since I was a pea little kid in school. Started with programming on robots, and I worked all the way up to doing cloud APIs, RESTful, zero trust security. And I am also a former C++ developer. There seems to be a trend on this chat today. I also had this same experience trying to build RESTful micro API services. The number of dependencies was immense, and I absolutely needed a package manager. And it's part of the reason why I've been so passionate about contributing to Conan on my spare time.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Okay, so we actually have some good questions coming up on the YouTube chat. So Devere asked a couple questions, which he's curious about. So one thing he was wondering is statistics of library authors adopting Conan as the official way to consume their package. So do we know how many library authors are actually starting to look at Conan as a better way to distribute their packages?
That's a hard question, and to be honest, we don't have that number. We would love to. We know that there is people that is already using just Conan. For example, today I saw a tweet where there was a 3D engine that he moved from CMake to Conan. He was just using Conan install and Conan build, which was okay under the Conan call. Of course, probably it was running CMake. But so I mean, there are people, but we don't know how many. This is something we would really want to know, but we cannot know what people is doing in their own repositories.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully it gets to the point, just like in the other languages you pointed out, where it's the default that you use a package manager like Conan to do your releases. I think that's pretty much expected that any Python npm or Java package you use just by default uses a package manager. One of Vera's second questions was how an author can automate releasing new versions. So how easy is it if I'm an open source author to just automate pushing new packages and having them built by Conan Center?
I don't want to take all the questions. I think that Prince also can know about this one, probably, right? Because it is about the bot. I commented there is a bot that is monitoring new releases of libraries and submitting automatically a pull request with the library. I think that the author of that bot is in the YouTube channel. Because
actually he replied as well to Vera and talked about the bot. I think it's probably him, although I can't read Cyrillic, so the name is unpronounceable for me.
So this is something we haven't written. Okay, this is not our work; it's a contribution, and it is just monitoring new releases and submitting the required changes. So Conan Center will trigger the pull request to contribute those packages, those new packages to Conan Center. So just know it is possible, it is easy, because given how Conan Center works, you just need to modify a file, which is easily modified with a script. So it is piece of cake. I mean, and if anyone wants to do it, just open an issue in Conan Center Index and we will help him.
Also, Croydon created a specific bot to update the dependency in the receipt. So from time to time, if you use Beancrafter as repository, you'll see new dependencies be updated by his bot. There are more bots actually running there in Conan Center Index created by the community. Eric also created a specific bot which takes conflicts between PRs. Let's say you open a bumpy dependency for a specific package, and another person created a specific PR for the same recipe. So that bot will identify and notify both users.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. So it sounds like it's quite easy to. Go ahead.
I think that now that we are talking about bots, I really want to ask Chris, because you wrote a really cool bot. Maybe you can tell us about your work for that bot.
I would love to talk about it. So I'm the author of the pull request ready for review bot. And it monitors the GitHub API and it runs every hour and it checks the status of all the pull requests that are open. And if you go into our documentation inside the review procedure, you'll find some of the criteria that it takes. So the build has to be passing. It needs to have 3 reviews. One of the Conan team and 2 community reviews will get it. And it needs a total of 3. So the bot will go through and look at all the open pull requests and check each one of them to see where it's at. And it'll even add pull requests that have no reviews. So the new ones that get opened will also get flagged. And it makes it a really easy spot for the community to go and find the status of all the pull requests that are open and which ones need the most attention.
Yeah, your bot is really cool, and all the graphics and the statistics you post in that issue, I really recommend all of our attendees to go there and have a look to that really great piece of software.
There's 2 beautiful graphs at the bottom. One is open versus merge, the other one is time in review. And you can actually see like live trends about how fast or how slow some days we're moving about adding pull requests. But overall, like in one of Javier and Danny's graphs, there was a number of closed is actually incredibly small, which is really nice. Almost every single pull request will get attention. It's very rare that someone will close a pull request without any comments, which I thought was absolutely excellent for that community strength that we have.
Actually, I prefer to use your bot instead of reading my emails when I receive a review request.
Yeah,
because it's more centralized.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
You exactly nailed my motivation for adding that bot. Trying to keep up with all of our emails. We have hundreds and hundreds of pull requests every month, and trying to keep up with all of them, it's quite difficult at times. But hopefully, it makes all of our lives better having bots like this.
I see. Easily, I receive more than 100 emails every day about related to Conan community. So that issue in the bot makes my life much easier.
Cool. No, that's awesome, and that's a great contribution back to the Conan community. So thanks, Chris, for being an early adopter of Conan and supporting the Conan community. So we talked a bit about the pull request workflow and like how to automate that and how to make that easy to use. I think are there any other aspects of Conan Center which are worth highlighting for the audience that they should be taking advantage of, either as a library author or as an end user?
I would almost argue the platform support. One of the things that many C++ projects tend to be a little bit weaker on is supporting a diversity of platforms. And in the Conan community, like Javier's example with Evanston Script SDK, trying to make web technology for your C++ projects, making sure they're portable to all different platforms is something that I've really enjoyed getting to learn and work on more and more.
Yeah, and you get to do all the hard work on the back end to make sure all those platforms actually build.
And we would love to add more platforms. But it's
So,
not always possible, not always easy, and it requires always more and more resources.
yeah, so maybe for behind the scenes on Conan Center, what does it take to build the same library on multiple platforms? Like what's the back end process which we're using?
Well, okay, I can do it. Right now we are building for 4 different platforms. Okay, we are building for Windows, we are building for Linux, and we are building for macOS, and also for M1, Apple M1. Okay, basically for Linux we just use Docker containers. We build different versions of GCC and different version of CLAN, which is why we have so many package IDs. We also build in Windows for Visual Studio 2017 and 2019, and for sure, once it is released, we will build binaries for 2022. And in Mac, we use Mac servers. Ooh, that was noise before. And for Mac, we will use Mac servers to build natively to the regular Mac, I mean to 64 Mac, and then we cross-build in that machine to Apple M1. So we are not only supporting more platforms, we are also testing that recipes work for some cross-building scenario, which I think it's also very valuable for recipes.
Sometimes we find some problems with the project. They are not compatible with some platforms or compilers, and not even the author knows about. So, yeah. We discovered some bugs, let's say, from some projects when building all this.
Cool. So you're even able to help to find bugs in projects on different platforms where they can't easily build it themselves.
Yeah,
contribute patches upstream with modification to the build system, so it is possible to build for those platforms. That's really cool.
Cool. That's awesome. And what sort of recipes have folks on this panel written themselves? Anything cool?
I think I apologize, I didn't pronounce your name. Yulin would have some very good examples. I know he's had some really fun PRs recently.
Well, I'm proud of, for this talk, I started almost 2 months ago during my holidays, to be honest. Okay, I shouldn't do it, but I did it. And I started to write the recipes for this Magnum library, the Magnum integration, Magnum extras, Magnum plugins, and everything related to the library. Some patches for STL2, and also another great contributor helped me with lots of recipes. He was Made VR. I'm sure that everyone know him if they have visited the repository. So we were like working together to bring that recipe and all its dependencies to Conan Center, and it was a really great process.
Yeah, so you're actually following your bad advice to work weekends and holidays. But that's when you're most productive, because you don't get interrupted. Although I think we've increased the productivity of the whole developer community today, because apparently our Conan 1000 recipes event is so popular it took down Slack. Slack's not responding today either very well. I would say Slack is the number one risk to developer productivity. You get constantly interrupted by folks when you're trying to do stuff. So for folks who might want to get started with Conan Center, what advice can you give to a new contributor?
I would say read the documentation first, but because all the steps there are there, but you are very welcome to the CPP Lang Slack, and also there is a score, the includes PP. People are really friendly there, so if you ask there, they will help you with the first recipe. For many times, I see people asking for help for the first contribution there, and all people helping.
We all know the challenges of building C++. I'd recommend starting with a header-only library that you're using and get used to working with writing the recipes. And once you get your head wrapped around the workflow of Conan, it's very easy to start adding more complicated projects that are Google Cloud APIs or REST SDKs that get benefit greatly from. So.
Yeah, we have some good examples there. We separated on the documentation for the first contribution, which are make easier. Don't try to use recipes as base like, for example, Boost or Poco. They are crazy to understand. Try something very simple.
But also I will say that, I mean, this is not about creating recipes for Conan Center. This is about creating recipes for Conan. So you don't need to look only to Conan Center documentation. You can have a look to all the Conan documentation, to the Conan trainings, and several videos that are out there where you can learn to write recipes. And those recipes are the ones we are using in Conan Center. I mean, there is nothing different in Conan Center. This is Conan.
Cool. And I think also something which we talked about and referred to in the stream is members of the Conan tribe, and you're a member of the Conan tribe, Chris. So besides the cool hoodie, which you apparently have in your background, what other reasons did you decide to join the Conan tribe and help out?
So as Conan has been growing and I've been using it more, I got to adopt it in my former job. Some of my colleagues ended up picking up on Conan and using it in their companies as well. And it's really been great to see its strengths, but there's also a few spots that could have been improved. And one of the things that I absolutely loved was the opportunity to be a part of the community, a part of the tribe, to actually help improve the version 2. And there's some really key things that are going to be coming out, like immutable recipes, which is going to be a god saver for most of us. Having to be able to cache multiple revisions too is going to be just a delight. And I'm sure there's more features that are going to get sneaked in before the 2.0 release gets dropped. So being able to contribute back and help give our feedback as community members is just greatly appreciated to the whole Conan team.
Awesome. All right. Thanks a lot, Chris, for being a valued Conan user and member of the tribe, and for joining us for the panel. Javier, Julian, thanks for making Conan and Conan Center a great system for the C and C++ community. And I would like to invite back up Diego. So I'm going to say goodbye to all our panelists. Thanks very much. Appreciate all the answers to questions. And thanks for joining our Conan 1000 recipes events. And welcome back, Diego.
Hey, hello.
So it was awesome to see all the hard work the teams put in, to see all of the huge milestone of reaching 1,000 recipes. And I think one thing which came across very strongly was the community spirit. So I think you've done a great job with Conan and with the community to build something which I think the whole community is quite proud of. So.
Yeah, I think there is a common denominator here. I was also a C++ developer, and it seems that most of us come from the pain of suffering this, and all of us, we want to have this fixed, and this is the spirit. We are just basically working together. It's not they and us and everything. It's just a team trying to improve the situation, and that's great.
Awesome. So we're coming to a close for our 1,000 recipes event, and we have a winner for our Nintendo Switch raffle. So we're pleased to announce that Harold Oschitz is the winner of the Nintendo Switch. Thanks, Harold, for being a awesome recipe contributor. So it's great to have members of the Conan community who are building recipes and helping to support the growth of Conan Center. We hope you enjoy the new Nintendo Switch, Harold, or have kids who will enjoy it as well. Don't get too distracted by video games. We need more recipes. We need to get up to 2,000. But it's awesome. Congratulations. And I think this is a small way which we can reward and celebrate the contributions which the community is making to Conan Center and make it a better ecosystem and a better place to be able to get the libraries and easily develop C and C++ applications. Okay, so I will give you the last word, Diego, for the Conan 1000 recipes event.
Well, then to end this event, there's only one word I can say is thank you. There is nothing better to say that, and I'm looking forward for another 2 years or 5 years of working together with this amazing community, because this is what really fulfills me. This is the best job experience I've ever had, and I'm really enjoying it. So please, community, keep rocking, and we will keep rocking with you.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. And here's to 2,000 recipes in the future. So congratulations on reaching the milestone. And thanks for the whole Conan community for joining us for this broadcast.
Thank you all.